So welcome to RAC Arena, the crowd building. The Green Army, they are called. Goodness, look at those hats. As the West Coast Fever about to host their second home game in successive weeks here in Perth, up against the Queensland Firebirds. And certainly an important game for both sides. For the Fever, just keeping in touch with the top four, and for the Queensland Firebirds, just trying to build some confidence and build some 60-minute performances. As we mentioned earlier, both sides coming off losses and wanting to find their way back to some winning form. Stacey Francis-Bayman joins me in commentary today as the West Coast Fever make their way out on to the court. Stace, the lineup for the Fever, back to that traditional seven with Glasgow and Anstis back in.
Yeah, absolutely right. Janelle Fowler back at goal shooter, joined by the super shot queen, Sasha Glasgow out in front. Alice Neal is having an incredible season and will be supported ably in the middle by Bez after a really great performance last week. I think the real big in is also Jess Anstis on the wing defence, with a really familiar partnership behind her, who'll be looking, I think, to have much more impact.
You can see the armbands there worn by the West Coast Fever. Sad news, the passing of Emma Kosh's auntie. We send our thoughts to the family, and the West Coast Fever honouring that today. The Queensland Firebirds, their lineup a little changed with Ashley Unai in at wing defence, and as we mentioned in the opener, no Gabby Simpson out with an ankle injury.
Yeah, and I think it is a big loss for the Firebirds. They have used their bench in rotation, specifically through the middle, but I suspect that we'll see some changes. Ashley Unai will have been sat on the bench this season and be looking to make a huge amount of impact and put her hand forward to take that position whilst Gabby is absent.
So the West Coast Fever, a one-goal loss to the Swifts last week, and it's the Firebirds who played for 45 and then couldn't finish off against the Thunderbirds. Both sides, enormous scorers. Janelle Fowler sitting on 499 goals this season, and hello goal 500, and gets the West Coast Fever on the board.
Yeah. Sorry, I was going to say, I think we've got incredible early impact by Courtney Bruce there, out hunting, and met immediately by Remy Carmo at the other end.
Two goalkeepers impacting early. We spoke to Courtney Bruce, our Telstra player, to watch footwork the call, and she said that she wants to make sure that she has a presence both in front of Wallam and also off Wallam. Well, she's just done that. Fowler with her second. We spoke about Remy Carmo, the growth in her game. 60 from 61 Fowler was when they last played. Fowler again, dominance early from the Jamaican superstar. Stace, the start that the West Coast Fever would want.
Absolutely right. It's incredibly important to get that strong start, just to settle things, build confidence, and then also adjust those combinations as the game goes. But a confident lead there by Kim Mavillion into Danelle, who is an incredibly prolific shooter herself.
Janelle Wallam, West Australian, as Teague Neal juggles that one and can't keep it in play. Janelle Wallam, we mentioned, returning home, and there are signs in this army of green sprinkled with purple saying Wallam. So she has her fans here. Unai forced to go backwards. They go down the line eventually with more. Dunkley too much on it. Bruce hustles, finds Simmons, and they're quick with the loose ball, the Fever early. Bruce impact early. Anstis back. COVID protocols for both Jess Anstis and Sasha Glasgow. Medically cleared to play today. Simmons, patience.
As you can see here in the Harvey Norman replay, that slight misfeed there by Dunkley, but Courtney Bruce immediately on those scraps and ready for the pickup.
Well, terrific attacking play there for the Firebirds. That's probably just a quick glimpse of how quickly they can score. Glasgow middle corridor. Carmo. Look at the pressure on Fowler, but it opens Glasgow for the quick 1-2. Sasha Glasgow gets herself back on the board.
She She doesn't look like she's missed a beat, starting the game incredibly confidently.
And Ryan and Beck Bully, the leaders of the respective sides here today. Great take from Wallen.
Kim Rebellion putting the feeders on notice, sending a long early feed into the circle again, and almost on a 2-on-1 at that.
Well, it's confidence, isn't it? Straight to go over Courtney Bruce. That's what they need to do. That one was a flat ball into Fowler. The West Coast Fever leading early here, 6-3. 3-1 goal losses the Fever have had this season, in a season that has been full of close games. Not so much in that one just prior, the Swifts and the Magpies.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, rejection from Ariang over Wallen. They find their way back to the post though, Moore. Have a look at this. Gee, she looked close. I don't want to take anything away.
I hear what you're saying. There is a 3-feet rule there in netball. Arguably the ball ended at where it was supposed to be, and that's a goal for Firebirds.
Moore, nice connection. You can just see trying to set this play up. Bruce goes down. Wallen at range. Danelle Wallen with confidence. Moore, ball in play. Emily Moore did a terrific job to keep that in play. The scraps so far have fallen with the Fever.
Yeah, interesting that even though in that previous contest, Courtney Bruce ended up on the floor, there was still a bit of indecision from Danelle Wallen. She didn't take that ball as cleanly as she would have liked.
So end-to-end for the West Coast Fever. Deflections to gains, they lead the competition, with the Firebirds sitting in 5th. Teague Neal going offside, but the umpire indicating it was an advantage contact on Unite.
Good hustle there by Carmo, but strong hands by Janelle Fowler to pull that one in.
So 7 goals to Fowler. Dunkley through the middle. That's where they want to be when they're feeding Wallen. Readjusts the position, Wallen. Polishes off for the Firebirds. You mentioned earlier, Stace, this will be a high-scoring game. There's your stats for the Firebirds, bottom of the screen. 73-71, over 140 goals scored when they last met. So it's an attacking feast. So I guess we have to pay some real respect to when a defensive ball is got this game.
Yeah, absolutely. There is, you know, it sounds really common and basic that you want to try and turn the ball over early, but even getting your hands on ball is a difficult feat against two prolific international standard shooters. And Danelle Wallen has the second most amount of attempts in the league, so not only is she prolific for the Firebirds, but it stands up against the rest of the shooters.
Dylan McPherson joining us on the sideline. Dylan, bird's eye view early, 10-6. Fever certainly out of the blocks.
Yeah, they're out of the blocks really well, and I think where the Firebirds are struggling is they're just not slowing the Fever down enough. We've seen a few times when Unite and Bakewell Doran get hands over pressure. That's where Remy Carmo is getting her tips and touches. But I am sitting next to the Firebirds bench, and they are up and about. So much energy coming from Beck Bully, their coach. They want to win this game, and they want to win it badly.
Well, they're going to have to contend with the captain of the West Coast Fever, Courtney Bruce, because she was in that.
Yeah, you love to see players starting the game strongly, giving the opposition something to think about, and now we see how the Firebirds adjust to what is Courtney getting the better of this one-on-one battle early.
Fowler, look at her just trying to work her way back under the pressure of the two Firebirds. They hedge, and the Fever find the feed in the moment.
Have a look at this Harvey Norman replay. Incredible elevation.
That's athleticism for both though, isn't it? I mean, Wallen right up out of the air, and the great contest in the air from Bruce. 12-6 the score. HCF tactical timeout called by the Queensland Firebirds. Let's hear from their coach, Beck Bully.
Yeah, I agree. When Nellie's one-on-one, look, let it go. The other thing that worked really well was when Nellie came out and then you turned and open and played it in. So there's two options we can do. Let it go to Nellie on the one-on-one, okay? Or if they can't see Nellie, come out and then goal attack, head in, and then we open on dribble. Defensively though, we need more pressure. got to get in and contest. You're all just letting them come to the ball. You actually got to contest, okay? Because we're sitting behind and we're not putting enough pressure on. We're not going for ball. Go for it. 3 feet, stay in play, okay? If they do the baseline drive, switch. You come in front, but come in top side, and you go for that. Graham, I reckon you've got to get up, contest, but you've got to keep taking the second effort as well. Because it's going, you're getting a tip to it, but then trying to tip it out. Let's start again now. Let's go.
So a fair bit of commentary there coming from Beck Bully. Of course, she's a premiership player herself, but a defender by trade. She was really in states there with the defence.
Yeah, absolutely. Clearly not happy with the intent of which the defence has started at. 6-goal deficit is big enough against a team who are able to score quickly like Fever, but she wants them to get in the contest and specifically not to sit behind and just let Fever chip them away and push back to goal.
Well, maybe the instructions weren't heard by Carmo in behind Fowler on that occasion, and it was direct for the West Coast Fever. They are saying, though, find Wallum and do just that. So the attackers with confidence and some work for the Firebirds defence against a really fast attacking West Coast Fever. Obstruction, 2-on-1. Glasgow will sit out. And a wasted opportunity for the West Coast Fever in a moment here for the Firebirds.
Yeah, a bit casual on the hands there by Fowler. She went with one, but Remy Carmo up and doing the second effort, which is what Coach Beck Bully asked for.
Dylan McPherson as Courtney Bruce had another look at that inside the West Coast Fever huddle. Surely Ryan happy early. Get down to Dylan McPherson in just a moment. Meantime, a couple in a row for the Firebirds. So just for the difference. Here's your last 10. So 2 clusters of 3 for each side. Simmons, great offload, gee. Last week against the Swifts, 97 Nissan net points. Tracking nicely early, Brody Simmons. Let's see if we can get down to Dylan McPherson.
In the Fever huddle, it was really about getting depth from Alice Teague-Neild and Verity Simmons. They're trying to draw the eye of Remy Carmo in the pocket so that they can go straight into Janelle Fowler. And unsurprisingly, Nerida Stewart very happy with the defensive effort once Dunkley and Rebellion off circle edge and really invite that one-on-one with Courtney Bruce and Janelle Wallum because they think she's getting the better of the battle there.
First time that the Fever have been forced backwards. They've patiently worked their way through Glasgow. Well, welcome back, Sasha Glasgow. And a quick one too. And she's 3 straight. 5 the difference. Firebirds patiently finds Dunkley out wide. Cross court, and again, Rebellion. Right idea, wrongly executed.
Absolutely took the words right out of my mouth. I think the confidence to look in and send it early, brilliant. The placement of the ball was defender biased.
So the siren goes, we're into power 5. And certainly threats at both ends of the court to be able to shoot the 2s.
Yeah, just a couple of, I think, just miscommunications between the Firebirds defensive circle at the moment. Either 2 players both go into one shooter and it's leaving the other one completely free.
Teague-Neild, front position. So Sasha Glasgow shooting at 65% accuracy. That one a little off. And then you go to one of the better rebounders in the league in Fowler. Great combination for the Fever.
What a dream to be able to have the confidence to put that up and pretty high percentage chance that the ball is going to stay in the possession of your team.
Swing to open up the width for the Firebirds, finds Wallum. She'll get another look at it off a penalty. Janelle Wallum. 4 super shots. And the first Suncorp one drops for her.
Wallum is not a one-trick pony.
No, but it's confidence early for her, isn't it?
Yeah, she looks happy to go to post. She's especially keen at taking a free shot when there's been a penalty.
Glasgow under the pressure of Bakewell. Oh, it was Carmo, my apologies.
I think that's credit to Remy Carmo. Moves around that court like a goal defence, completely mobile and agile in and outside of the circle.
I mean, they are quite similar in play. I mean, they've played alongside each other at club level. They know each other's game back to front. That's why the combination between the two has come so seamlessly. Glasgow adjusts this time. It's a big one. Suncorp super shot.
There's a side eye from Sasha Glasgow to the post there. She would not have been impressed if that one had trickled out.
Number 42 for her this season. Under the post. Bruce looking after Moore. They take the one. 19 to 13. 9 from 11, and that one super shot we saw from Wallen. Anstis using Simmons through the middle. Good pressure from the Firebirds defence here. Glasgow, though, that release, oh, gee. Needed another Weet-Bix on it.
Well, it was a beautiful contest again by Remy Carmo, just completely running her feet and putting Janelle under pressure in that moment. But Sasha Glasgow is finding her feet in that shooting circle. That's 2 from 3 from her now in the super shots.
Bruce also out looking. It'll be a contact, but Dan Ryan, their coach, on the side of the court, up and clapping that moment. So definitely encouraging Bruce to have a presence early.
Yeah, he's very keen on the defensive players being bold, having a crack at ball.
Moore for her first. Dribbles, but Wallen with the rebound, goes over their head, basketball style. It doesn't land though, and it'll go with the Fever. A minute 50 on the clock. Simmons looks long, ignores the lead of Teague Neal. Glasgow, a huge amount of work outside the circle.
Real patience from West Coast Fever in that through court. Although they can break through at speed, they were clearly focused on getting that turnover to a goal, as we see there. Now Wallen with the attempted.
Oh, just
everything.
It's the skill, isn't it? The ability to have the skill to even think to put that ball in over her head. It's the uniqueness of Danelle Wallen. Speaking of unique skills,
They're unique human, I think.
it's a big first quarter score for the Fever, 23 to 13.
Yeah, really finding great access, specifically off of their centre pass, scoring at 88%, which is incredibly high. The Firebirds will be looking to try and impact that in the second, but Danelle Wallen very mindful of the score, and she's not letting it slip away. Confident to pass the ball out and go for that too.
Just under a minute to play. Simmons again. Carmo will get to one of those balls very soon, if not that soon. A quick little outlet from Fowler to Glasgow, and it's a bit of Suncorp super shot raining here at RAC Arena from Wallen to Glasgow. Gee, I'll tell you what, the Confident Girls Foundation is going to get some money this year. Suncorp donating that $100 for everyone. Here could be another $100. Wallen from middle. Oh my goodness! What an opening! What have we got here? 3 from Wallen, 2 from Glasgow. Confidence, isn't it?
Absolutely. Weather forecast said strong chance of super shots at RAC Arena.
Well, what about this one? Oh, Sachi Glasgow!
Wowee. And it really is a bit of a kick in the teeth for the Firebirds, because although they're sinking those shots, the gap was already opened, and so it keeps them in touch, but it doesn't close it.
Well, that gap is now 10 goals to the Fever, so a big opening quarter. We'll head to the break. When we come back, the Firebirds with some work to do. It's the Fever hosting the Firebirds here at RAC Arena. Welcome back to RAC Arena. The first quarter done and dusted. Our Origin Energy quarter time break, and we're going to head straight down to Dylan McPherson, who is joined by one of the Firebirds superstars who's sadly not in this game and out injured.
Yeah, I'm here with Gabby Siblin, and it is incredibly sad. Gabby, tell us about the ankle. What's the update?
Yes, probably a little bit dramatic last week. Everything is tracking really well. Fingers crossed for the game next week, but we've got to tick off a few more boxes to get there.
And Lisa Mai comes in this week. Super exciting for her. If she gets out on court, what can we expect from her?
Oh, she's incredible. She's so quick. That's one of the greatest things about me being out, is that she gets her opportunity.
Well, we can't wait to see you back, Gabby.
Thank you.
Appreciate Gabby Simpson having a chat. Super dramatic. I mean, it was dramatic. It looked awful, the injury.
It did. It didn't look good. And Gabby was battling an ankle injury in the pre-season as well. And it took her a while to bounce back. So I imagine as soon as she felt a re-injury in that area, her thoughts were worst case scenario.
Well, it'll be good news for Firebirds fans and the league if Gabby Simpson can get back up next week. We wish her all the very best. Let's get back into the game as the second quarter starts. And the Firebirds direct access to the post. At opening quarter stage, the 17-goal return was great, but 27 for the West Coast Fever, that's enormous.
It is. It's absolutely huge. They scored 25 against the Firebirds in their first quarter in round 5. The gap then was 10, but they've bested themselves here and will be hoping to stand a bit more steady as the game goes. But the Firebirds centre pass is running incredibly efficiently at the moment, and they're getting great depth off of second post.
Janelle Wallam, 11 from 13 for her. Too much for Fowler. Simmons tries to keep it in play, and somehow Fowler finds the scraps and then gives a direct access to Bakewell. Doran back to Fever. Try and commentate that moment, folks.
That was fantastic. Incredible defensive action here. As we see Vezzy keep it in on the Hari Norman replay, backed up by Janelle. There was then a cross-court ball, which RBD read perfectly, but unfortunately, nobody to back her up in that moment.
Rebellion working with Moore. Lines up. Lovely high action. And then drops through the middle. Steve Neal. Glasgow, good connection down to Fowler. It's a semi-win. It's just a shame the contact on that one because Fowler is out. You mean, you don't want to contact in those moments, surely?
No, but what I think was better in that moment by Janelle was the fact that she got to that space early and then she held her ground. So she took the ball really strongly, which makes it a lot harder for Remy, whereas when they were both on the move, she was completely in the contest.
Oh, gee, great vision from Dunkley. Well, that has to give the Firebirds the confidence. But just remind you again, I said it in the first quarter, how quickly, well, both sides can score, but the Firebirds need that direct access to the post. And then they need to find some ball off the West Coast Fever.
Yeah, I think that's just the area of the game that they're lacking at the moment. As we see, the time per goal on screen is incredibly fast, barely anything between the two teams. But at the minute, for me, the difference is Fever's ability to impact and to get games.
What a terrific stat, that time per goal. Mr. Champion data for that one.
You couldn't do that for 60 minutes, I don't think.
Oh, impossible. And his work rate at the highest. The Fever finding Glasgow in front, releasing a bit of pressure off Fowler. Asher Glasgow. 5 goals from her. Tough news, not in that England lineup. As we know, she was hoping for Courtney Bruce.
I think she was hoping for the ball to have come off of Danelle there, so that wasn't required to chase it down.
I feel like that was a replication of the one we replayed in the first quarter. It's just two athletes going crazy in the air.
Absolutely, and you want to be confident and put that ball into Danelle. Give her the opportunity to take a ball one-on-one.
Wallam steps in off the contact from Bruce and continues the volume at the post. They're going to need that today from her. Quick second phase and third to Fowler. Thinks about the offload. That's her first miss of the game and does it with a smile on her face.
Yeah, shaking her head there because she was looking to offload, and I think had she just gone to post directly the first time, she'd still be sitting on 100%.
Let's get down to Dylan McPherson as that's a wayward one for the Firebirds. Again, like Dylan always has has a lot to say, just not in these moments.
No, it's very uncharacteristic from Dylan there.
Simmons. It's a bit of patience back to the line with Anstis. You can see Fowler wanting it in the backspace.
Yeah, no doubt about where she wanted that ball then, and a really nice strong setup with an angle and space on the baseline for Becky to send that feed in over Remy Carmo.
Verity Simmons, loose hands, tries to tap it on, replayed ball, the call. Let's get down now to Dylan McPherson.
I feel like it was just 1 week, Sue. There's no need to turn my microphone off, but I was just looking a lot at Lara Dunkley fed that beautiful ball from the centre third moments ago, and that was the message from Beck Woolley at quarter time in the huddle. Get the ball in nice and early to Danelle Wallerman, especially when she's in that mismatch with Sunday Ariane. So I like that Firebirds, notwithstanding the scoreline, are continuing to attack that long feed and try and score quickly.
Dylan, while I've got you, Ruby Bakewell-Doran there out flying for the ball. You said that's what she's good at. Will we see a bit more of that? Does she get hand on ball?
Her timing was just off then. I would expect that Bakewell-Doran and Unai have been given the licence to go and fly for ball now. So I think she's one of the best in the competition at it, and she can start getting some ball. It could bring this scoreline back.
35-24 is the scoreline. Glasgow, that combination between her and Fowler has just grown, hasn't it, over time. Sasha Glasgow, traditionally a shooter, and has certainly crafted her way out at goal attack.
Yeah, I think the combination just between that attacking... Is it a thruple? It's a thruple, there's three of them. The attacking thruple of Teague Neal, Glasgow and Fowler has just gone from strength to strength, and they are absolutely monstering the Nissan net points, and the Firebirds defenders are struggling to slow their style of play right now.
And one into Emily Moore. She's under some pressure from Bruce. She'll have another look though. 3 straight from her in the 1 point period. That'll go number 4. Thoughts between those two coaches. One, a shooter in Dan Ryan, the other a defender in Beck Woolley. Both very good in their day.
Hard work there by Remy Carmo, ending up on the floor, but what is fantastic to see is her repeated efforts in that defensive circle. She is up and about, the ball is being refed, and she's constantly there to try and have a crack at the next opportunity for an intercept.
On the baseline, yep, absolutely adjusts the shot on that occasion. Emily Moore enjoying a little bit more court time for the Firebirds. We know Mia Stower sitting on the bench can enter the game at any stage in both wing attack and goal attack. As the West Coast Fever send the Firebirds to the floor. But it's certainly a better quarter score-wise, so 27-17 in the first. And sitting with 11-9 in the second. The Fever in front, more blow for blow. Ariane.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about the scoreline, Sue, but in that first quarter, Fever scored 12 points in the super shot period, and so the Firebirds will be needing to be mindful of that moving forward.
Wallam steps in, lovely from Danelle Wallam. A little slap of the hands, and another few, so enjoying her confidence at the post.
One of my favourite things to see when we see Danelle Wallam get up and about and a little bit fiery. She enjoys her netball, and I think she really enjoys playing here at the RIC Arena.
So just interesting here, just the back of play, Janelle Fowler just walking over to the sideline. Glasgow indicating something, so we'll keep our eyes on the Fever bench. Dylan McPherson will be all over that. Not sure what it was about. In the meantime, Unai comes up with a needed intercept. Firebirds, Bakewell-Doran. Rebellion has to swing and set the penalty again. Ryan plays every ball. Oh!
Wow, Courtney Bruce robbing the nest there of the Firebirds. She was able to go out and have a hedge, but they were both back in on the contest and manages to get a tip to the ball from behind, which is really hard to do without conceding a penalty.
Dunkley recovery from the ground. Anstis opening up the width of the court for the Fever. Balances. Oh, what a ball from Sasha Glasgow. That can't be beaten. Beautiful height, We've seen a few balls earlier, Stace, that have been a little bit off. But that one was spot on.
And still under the pressure of two defenders. Remy Camo again out hunting, but back and recovering to try and get up and contest that ball.
HCF tactical timeout called by the West Coast Fever. And I'm going to keep my eye on Janelle Fowler, see whether there's anything that's going on there. Dan Ryan, folks.
All right, but there's 6 minutes to go in the quarter. All right, so we're building into our super shot period, making sure when we hear that siren, we lock straight into our strategies. All right, just regroup now, know what's going on around us. All right, really important. All right, keep the one-on-one mentality going. You two, cracking. Really great job. Really, really good. All right. Again, let's go into this super shot period with that intensive scoring the first. And if you get yourself into your range, you go for it. All right, and if you find your middle corridor, you go for it too. All right.
Are you guys going to put a couple on the bench? Can you?
Do you want the volume?
No,
I'll get timing. Yeah.
I'll yell it out.
Yeah, I'll keep yelling it out.
If it doesn't come back.
Yeah, all good. Just between you two, just make sure that we're not going lateral for a same ball. So if you get a lateral one, go and take the ball side cut and let Sasha come and fill that spot you're in, or vice versa. All right, just kind of lock into that one more little thing. Link through when you get to the circle, come out and alleviate the midcourt. All right. Okay, let's stay aggressive on the scoreboard here, guys, and keep the grind in defence. Let's see if we can win some ball, make it count. Let's go.
Excellent access then to the West Coast Fever huddle during that tactical timeout. Dan Ryan incredibly pleased with the work so far, wants the defenders to continue on that grind and that hustle, but be mindful that the super shot period is coming and to switch straight into their strategies.
5.5 minutes to play, so 30 away from our power 5, 40 to 27. And you heard Ryan say he wants that scoreboard to keep ticking over. Glasgow playing with the Firebirds defenders.
Notching up those Nissan net points there between Simmons and Glasgow.
If only you got a point for every time you threw and caught the ball.
Oh, do you not?
No, no, it's not that easy. Dunkley, well, terrific attack there off the centre pass. Great depth from Dunkley, and then the direct feed into Wallam for the Firebirds.
I would actually love a little bit of a tutorial as to what you get Nissan net points for.
I can give that to you.
I think I could come back and game the system and get some more points.
You don't get any for commentating, Stacey Francis Bayman. Glasgow again. Just having a think about the setup. Well, good use of the clock. Power 5 time hit, Sasha Glasgow. In range, Fowler steps in. Takes the one. So the Firebirds, through this 5 minutes, I was going to say they need to be direct, but then have the confidence to sit in this range. Emily Moore, rebound goes to Bruce.
Really great presence of mind then, though, by Danelle Wallam. She understood exactly what the excellent contest and take by Jess Ansis in that moment. But really great by Danelle, knowing that they don't need to let the score push out further, and a 2 is going to really do them a solid on the scoreline.
So look at the patience here from the Fever. Ariang finds her way through to the transverse line. Simmons has to work around the arms. And eventually the road to Fowler into Glasgow. Does it drop for 2? Yes, it does. Sasha Glasgow, another super shot. Number 5 for her. So the West Coast Fever, another centre pass. To maybe go another 2. Glasgow, well, she's had a week off and she's feeling good. Not on that occasion. And it was a great take by Unai in the air. And look how quickly they transition the Firebirds.
Yeah, brilliant strength on that circle edge for Unai to pull that ball in, and the Firebirds will be wanting to punish at the other end.
Well, just speaking of punish, that one, I mean it nicely, but it was a punish to watch, wasn't it? Because it dropped well short. Wallen won't be happy with that.
No, and those shots, I guess, are really difficult to rebound because you do expect the ball to at least hit the post, and so both teams, attack and defence-wise, are often caught just watching.
3 minutes. just shy of to play. Moore looks for the swing. Wallam tries to adjust on the range. Ball's in play. Umpire says play on. Everyone was standing there looking. And then eventually the West Coast Fever chase it down.
Yeah, I think often that's a bit of an area of development between the best of the league and the ones that need to improve, is just playing the moments until somebody tells you not to, just assuming that the ball is constantly in play.
Offside, Simmons to set up, currently sitting on 49 Nissan net points, tracking towards her score of last week, which was 95. Team Neal sitting on 53. The highest of, 55 Glasgow, the highest of anyone on court.
Oh, other than on the Fever side, with Kim Rebellion leading the Nissan net points at 57.
My apologies. Back space. Glasgow in range. Suncorp super shot drops for her.
Real intent to just go for that super shot in this period from both teams.
Sitting third in terms of number of super shots that have dropped, noting she's missed a week behind Housby and Sophie Dwyer from the Giants. Moore at the other end. Well, gee, the crowd are being treated, aren't they? The long-range shot. Just over a minute to play. Wallam just steadies for the Firebirds with the one. And I mentioned earlier that the scoreline was looking okay at 11-9, and now it's out to 20-12.
Yeah, it's a disappointing second quarter, I think, to follow up with that first. You often see teams have that ability to step away, to recollect themselves, but I think where, unfortunately, the quarter's starting to gap a little bit in this is the super shot period, because Firebirds do have to keep attacking it, but they're not necessarily getting the return.
Glasgow, it's contact on the arm. So another look at it from mid-range. Terrific camera angle to enjoy the moment from Sasha Glasgow. Oh, gee. She is feeling good about her game today.
Oh, and a tip there by Alice Neal, chased up by Verity. But the Firebirds defenders completely switched on in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Straight through the middle to Wallam. Needs the two. Too much on it. And Bruce the rebound. Well, the Fever are monstering the missed moments from the Firebirds.
Yeah, absolutely right. And a really strong ball there by Verity. Having an awareness, we think of the time, because actually the scoreboard in the arena has stopped.
Yeah, scoreboard in the arena has stopped, but it's a penalty after the siren, and Glasgow drops it. So the West Coast Fever notch up a half century 50 and lead the Queensland Firebirds by 30. And of course they'll be feeling confident, but I have to remind everyone what happened last time. And it was a monstrous start in round 5. Fever 43-30, and then the Firebirds came back 30-41 in the second half. So there's still plenty that can happen. Meantime, let's get down to one of the returning West Coast Fever athletes joining Dylan McPherson.
Jess answers. Jess, you would have hated watching that loss on the couch last week. What does it feel like out there?
Yeah, it was very hard watching it on TV last week, but it's feeling really good out here. Loving being back in front of the home crowd. So yeah, the energy, everything's up and about.
And we know Dwynell Wallam is a huge threat for the Firebirds. How much is it about the four of you as a defensive unit shutting her down?
Yeah, we've done lots of work over the last few weeks, in particular in that super shot period, and being able to clog the middle and put a lot of pressure on Nelly and the other shooters in terms of the super shots.
And it's a big margin at halftime, and I'm sure Dan won't be perfect. What do you think his message is going to be?
Yeah, I think learning from last time, we're up by a lot at halftime against Firebirds too, so making sure we keep putting on the pedal and continuing on in the second half.
Well, best of luck. Good to have you back.
So only 30 minutes played, a 20-goal lead to the West Coast Fever. We're going to chat how that came about at half-time. Well, two sides that had losses last week and wanting to find, I guess, a bit of winning form, and at the moment the West Coast Fever doing just that 30 minutes into this game. And there's been some big flies at the ball, but it's been about the big long bombs. Sasha Glasgow been in amongst it. And the West Coast Fever get us into the halftime break and leading by 20 after setting up a really good opening quarter. 27 goals in that opening quarter, Stace, significant, and the confidence off a 10-goal lead early.
Yeah, absolutely. They started the game incredibly fiercely. The attack was going with speed. They were really uninterrupted off their centre pass attack, and it was just setting them up for the rest of the game.
You see here, Teague Neild, as we mentioned, fairly high on those miss and net points. I feel like I haven't called her a lot in commentary, but she's just going about her business, Dylan. When I say quietly, impressively.
Absolutely, but I think the whole Fever attack is like that. It looks like they've put on an old glove and it's fitting perfectly with Sasha Glasgow coming back into the mix, and they just do their role very well when they're on song, and I think that's what we're seeing from Alice Teague Neild today. It's not particularly special at times, but it's incredibly consistent.
We mentioned they're two big scoring threats in the league. With the Firebirds, their ability to score, we mentioned a number of times in that first 30 minutes, their attack can fly through court. A 3-ball play, first phase, second phase, straight into Wallam. They're doing that, Stace.
Yeah, they are, and they've got confidence to feed both on and off of the circle. So some really long feeds going in early, but also they had great access to the top of the circle off of second phase centre pass, which is putting in an easier feed into the circle for Denal Wallam to convert for them.
Do they make changes still?
I think they might have to make changes. I spoke to Gabby Simpson after the quarter time, and she said Lisa Maimai has some incredible speed, and I think that might break Fever open a little bit, get them worried about what's going in the pocket, maybe get Courtney Bruce out of that one-on-one, because they need to find Wallam a lot easier than they are.
You are the Segway king today. Our Telstra player to watch was Courtney Bruce in the opener. Defensively for the Fever, she's led this, the captain's led today, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Those contests in the air, she came out flying early, Stace.
Yeah, we're seeing a real variety of her game today and an aggressiveness as well, which I really like. She was out hunting on the first centre pass of play, but she's also in there and hustling, getting really good front position and forcing errors from her direct opponent.
Courtney Bruce, what does she do for the West Coast Fever in that next 30 minutes, I guess? Okay, let's talk Sasha Glasgow. Does a week off allow you to come back and just have the freedom to play like she is today? I know it's all about the super shots and she's shot 9, but she was impressive early. We just saw on the screen then, getting in that 1 point, taking ownership of the ball. She looks like a player playing with freedom.
Player playing with freedom, and you mentioned it in the commentary. I think that Rose's non-selection will hurt her a little bit, and she's got a point to prove today, and she's proving it very well. I also think the other thing is you sit at home and you watch the game, and it's very rare for an athlete to be able to identify what went wrong, and that was maybe what she was able to do last week when she watched Fever Swifts, and she's coming out and doing everything right so far.
Must have been your commentary. She was listening to
I'd say so.
all of your points. Sasha Glasgow sitting at the moment 7 from 9 super shots. Let's get straight in to the match summary. We know it's a 20-goal lead. I go straight to the turnovers. The West Coast Fever only have 6 turnovers, Stace. That's enormous.
It is.
And when I say enormous, incredible, wrong word.
It's enormously fantastic. 6 turnovers and a half of netball is better than elite. I can't even begin to describe another word for it, and it's definitely setting them apart from the Firebirds, as well as the shooting accuracy. And what's not also pictured there is 91% off the centre pass attack to goal.
Dylan, for the West Coast Fever, they would be exceptionally mindful of what happened last time they met in round 5. Of course, they're going to have to do something a little different today, because you get the feeling the Firebirds will come out of the blocks here because they've got nothing to lose in this second half.
Yeah, and 41-30 to the Firebirds in the second half in round 5. So they know they're capable, and that will give them great confidence. But I think the message from Dan Ryan is keep on keeping on. They look comfortable, they look calm, they look totally in control of this game. And I think he'd be asking them for a 40-goal win.
If you're in the Firebirds, what do you do here?
I think it's really difficult because you want to positively reinforce the things that are going well. Denal is still a weapon out there. Remy Carmo is in and around and contesting, but unfortunately they're not getting enough balls. So whether they maybe switch the two around, put Remy Carmo out of the front and bring RBD into the back, and then for me I think maybe a change on the wing, move Rebellion across and then bring Beve into centre.
I feel like you are inside my head, Stacey Francis Bowman. All right, well, we're going to head to the break. Another 30 minutes of netball still to come, but some exciting news as we do go to the break. For all the netball clubs and associations out there, Woolworths are back this year with $100,000 up for grabs as part of their Pick Fresh, Play Fresh netball grants. It's a great initiative which showcases Woolworths community sport. And head to pickfreshplayfresh.com.au and you can apply for a grant today. Big thanks to Woolworths. Don't go anywhere. When we get back, it's the Fever hosting the Firebirds. Welcome back to RAC Arena. The big break done and dusted, and there's the West Coast Fever in a commanding position at halftime, leading by 20 goals. They set that up with a 10-goal start and a 10-goal second quarter. They're sitting currently third on the live ladder. That'll be courtesy of percentage if they can hold on and get the win here today. The Firebirds, they'll be sitting in 7th position. But I tell you, if you are inside their camp at the moment, you step out onto this court with absolute belief, right, that you can come back at the West Coast Fever, not only because you did it in round 5, but you've seen other sides do it throughout the season. So Janelle Wallam, a lot rests on her shoulders. There's a very important lady. Good old Christina Matthews, the CEO of Cricket WA. She's done amazing things for cricket here in the West. And we're led to believe loves her netball. Welcome. Look at her. I tell you what, that is a lady that has a lot of information in her head that she's done a lot of good for in cricket. Are you a cricket fan?
I'm not necessarily a cricket fan, but I'm a sports fan, so I will watch anything and specifically get around female sports.
So we get ourselves started in the third quarter. It's the West Coast Fever. And they have been effective in their centre pass to post. And it's now all about the Firebirds, and they've got some changes to their line. Stace, talk me through those.
Yeah, so we've seen Moore go to the bench with Stour coming on at GA. We have Bebe stepping onto the court in centre. Kim Revillion pushing back into wing defence. The rest remain unchanged.
So we're going to head down to the bench in green to the head coach in Dan Ryan. Dan, thanks for joining us. Not that I'd ever say a coach sits comfortably, but surely you're a happy coach after that first 30.
Really impressed, to be honest. I think we've started this game really well. The work rate's been good. That not so much, but no, I think the quality across the board of what we're trying to achieve today has been evident, and we just now need to sustain that across the full 60.
Dan, I think in modern day netball with the super shot, no one's comfortable even with 20 goals, but do you expect to see that same firepower, I guess, moving into the second half of the game?
Well, I think it's really important that we consolidate the work we've done. We don't want to drop off our standards. We don't want to drop off the intensity, and we've been attacking the scoreboard really aggressively, so we just want to make sure we can replicate this in the next 30 minutes.
And then finally, in terms of how your players return onto the court, we've obviously got Jess coming back from COVID protocols, also Glasgow too. Is it a clarity of game plan that just gives them an ability to step on court seamlessly?
Yeah, and I think today a real hunger to want to get back out there and play. They hated missing last week, and they're both playing really important roles so far. So they know what they need to do, and they're executing really nicely for us so far.
Good on you, Dan. All the best. Back to your job.
Thanks, guys.
Dan Ryan, the head coach of the West Coast Fever. I heard him say that they want to consolidate. It's the Firebirds that have come out of the blocks confident early.
Yeah, and a beautiful read in that moment when we were interviewing Dan from RBD, coming through, taking an interception, which will give her that confidence.
So 4-2 they lead at the moment. Wayward from Sasha Glasgow, but again it's that Simmons jumping out of the court, backed up by Fowler. Glasgow then just patiently trying to find the right place to feed Janelle Fowler. Stour and Dunkley. So Dunkley finding some good depth on second phase early, Stace.
Yeah, and that's been consistent so far across the game for me. The Firebirds are getting really great depth second phase, and I think for the West Coast Fever it's about that dead ball time defence and also recognition of who's actually going to get it and land it first, and then adjusting defensively to push them somewhere else so that they're not getting so much depth on second phase.
Oh, gee, very rare do you see that from Fowler. Didn't even make the ring. She gets the rebound though, so a couple of misses to her today. A 98% accuracy this season. They've a great ball offload. Liking the Firebirds and the way they're attacking this at the moment, releasing ball with confidence.
Yeah, these changes have had great impact. They've not slowed down. If anything, they look more confident. As we see, just a bit of a bump and a collision there. Definitely a contact by Kim Revillion. She's not contesting that, but Sasha Glasgow does hit the floor. Quite difficult, struggling to find somewhere to land.
So the court will get mopped up. Revillion Rebellion in her wing defence. I think she's done some good stuff in there for the Firebirds when they've made those changes, or even when she started there. Gabby Simpson has had some real impact when she's come on the court. As we know, out injured today, Glasgow. Another one for her. Oh, gee, Teague Neal. Well, that was impressive stuff. Couldn't quite get full control. Taps the ball around and finds a teammate and then gets part of the play to Fowler. Have a look, folks. Harvey Norman replay.
Amazing work there by Alice. Normally it's 2 bats and a catch, but it was just 3 bats and then Fever picked it up.
Speaking of bats, Christina Matthews will enjoy that. So whilst they might have been a little slow early, the Fever hit the 10-minute mark to play, and they're starting to find that same rhythm of the first half. Instruction, the call. The 4 inside the circle. Now the attention goes on Wallop. Stour released, has a look. Gets another go at it. And Stour drops her first since entering the court at half-time. Here's Stour this season, shooting at 63%, has dropped 9 super shots. And sharing the workload, isn't she, with Moore?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Mia won't necessarily have had the season that she would have wanted to so far in terms of, I think, court time and also consistency, but it is a different look and lineup out there for her, and I think sometimes it's nice to just re-enter the court instead of starting a game and be able to have impact that way.
I was just laughing at Christina Matthews looking up at the score. She loves, you know, in cricket there's lots of stats, right? So she's constantly looking up the scoreboard, getting all the stats. Meantime, Fowler, gee, good take in the air. The pressure of the Firebirds' defence doesn't stop the Fever though. The smiles on the faces of the West Coast Fever. Simmons driving through. Teague Neal finds the top. It goes to Simmons though, a little clustered.
Really good contest there on the ball by Bakewell Duran, but unfortunately being called for the contact.
Did you just call her Duran, as in Duran?
I'm just going to stick to the initial.
RBD.
I feel like that was working better for me.
There's your breakdown, quarter scores. So the Fever, just sort of in the last few minutes, lifted the work rate, notched themselves in front this quarter. They've been dominant in the first half. Wallen trickles that one in. Now Wallen, I'll tell you what, last time I remember I called the game and she was dominant. That win on this court was impressive last year.
I think what we do forget about Danelle is she is still at the beginning of her, I guess, her professional netball journey.
That is a great point.
Continuing to get better and better. And as we see, a bit of a heavy tumble there by Lara Dunkley and an incredibly confident take there by Danelle. But she is new into this system, and we judge her by incredibly high standards because she set those for herself. But I believe she will continue to grow.
Wallem at 83. Just the one for Stour since entering the court. You get the feeling though she'll be amongst the super shots when the Power 5 hits in a couple of minutes. Fowler, strong take. Under pressure from Carmo. Tracking towards a similar goal volume as she did last time they met, sitting now at 36 goals, 60 she shot against the Firebirds last time.
Yeah, absolutely. Great ball speed there by Mia Stour, entering the circle, undefended and puts the shot away. But yeah, Janelle Fowler's dominance and reign supreme in that circle, and to put up and score 60, or as we see Fever lose their centre pass.
Great pressure from Rebellion it was. First ball contest, so a chance here. Firebirds to gain a small little run of goals. Advantage contact goalkeeper, big step in from Wallen. So they turn over the centre pass of the West Coast Fever and get to go again. Rebellion having a bit of presence. Stour back to the line with Dunkley. Back to the circle edge, should I say. Doesn't like it over Bruce. And eventually the high road into Wallam. And this is where you get the Firebirds now need to have a risk defensively. They've taken 2 in a row. Get in and get amongst it and build some confidence here. And right on cue, Remy Camo does just that.
They'll be wishing you'd made that call potentially slightly earlier in this quarter.
First couple of minutes. So last 3 to the Firebirds. Let's get across to Dylan McPherson.
Yeah, I've just been really impressed with Fever's first phase defence on the centre pass. They're really setting up that wall and it's restricting Lara Dunkley and Mia Stow from getting out. And what it's doing is allowing Alice Teague-Neal and Sasha Glasgow to have impact off the back. Alice Teague-Neal's had 2 deflections this quarter, so I think just that initial pressure on Firebirds is putting them under pressure straight away.
Well, so much pressure, Dylan. That a HCF tactical timeout is called. Is that pressure just to release a bit of energy? Do the Fever makes the changes? That'll be interesting. You feel it's got to be some real input here from the Firebirds huddle. Let's hear from the coaching staff.
I reckon you're going in behind too much. I reckon fake behind and come in front. Like that last one, that's when you've got the tip, okay? So fake behind, jump in front. Great work intercepts, coming out, having a go. That's what we want. Keep going for those, okay? If we get a tip, we've got to chase it though. Don't wait for someone else to chase it or be in front. So that's a good tip. That's yours, chase it, okay? Don't wait for the umpire's call. There's something else I want you guys to focus on this next 5 minutes is talk. Anytime your player is leading, you are calling to the person with the hands over because they're getting it about a metre away from the person with hands over and we're not actually going for it, okay? So call it and let's go for it. And that voice is what we need. That generates the pressure.
Keep chipping. Great 1, 3, 1, 2, 3. Great. Let's go.
Stacey Francis Bayman. A lot of information. Too much or not?
I think the points that were made were incredibly valid, but the main thing for me to get the Firebirds back in the game is that they need ball. So whether it be a change of defensive structure, a specific strategy, more of what they're doing isn't enough. Something different needs to happen.
See how they come out of the break. Hervé quick hands, but not the accuracy on it. And West Coast Fever captain Courtney Bruce frustrated with that call. So it'll go for the Firebirds at the top of the circle. Stour, just a little fake of the ball, draws the defence of Bruce. And the accuracy which she needs because we're only 12 away from the power 5. Just getting her eye in early. Kim Jenner onto the court, in at wing defence. And Jess Anstis moves into the centre, so a couple of changes for the West Coast Fever. Take Fowler, pressure under the 2, power 5. This lady's been insane and continues. Another Suncorp super shot for Sasha Glasgow. Wallam finds the middle corridor, bounces in, bounces out, bounces to Bruce.
Awesome work there by Courtney Bruce. The ball being brought back by the umpire. I'm not too sure what for, but great anticipation of the rebound. Hopefully we'll get to have another look at that. Stour though, having an attempt, passes off.
Well, no confidence to go over Bruce, so that's a win for the Fever because the Firebirds only get to take the 1. Let's get down to Dylan McPherson inside the Fever camp just a moment ago.
Yeah, Dan Ryan had some words to say to Kim Jenner before she came on. Wanted big energy, big hands over pressure, stop the ball going into Janelle Wallam and really want to push Lara Dunkley and Halita Veve to the sides of the court and allow Courtney Bruce to hunt in the pocket. So I think Kim will bring on some real fire for this next 3.5 minutes.
Well, Courtney Bruce hunting in the pockets would be nervous news to the ears of the Firebirds. Glasgow misses on the long-range shot. There's only been a few misses from her in that, but she continues to go to the post. Anstis high to Fowler. Steps in, big hands from Camo. Terrific defence, but it doesn't stop that lady this time. That's what they need from her.
Exactly, so much better, just confidence to set your shot and go to post. Courtney Bruce is fantastic, but she can't reject every ball, so really challenge yourself, put that shot up.
Fowler thought about it, steps around. Well, you can see there that they're trying to get the ball to Glasgow. Look, she is an absolute superstar, we know that, Janelle Fowler. And she won't be thrilled that she's missed that shot, surely.
No, and I don't know whether we've seen her miss 3 shots in one game. I know when the Thunderbirds were stepping on court against the Firebirds, against Viva, they said that they could win a game if they got Janelle to miss 2 shots.
And they did.
And they did. And Firebirds have got her to miss 3, as we see Mia Stour continuing that confidence in the super shot zone.
Well, it puts the Firebirds in front this quarter, 18-17, so they've come out at the half-time and gone blow for blow with the Fever. But it doesn't help them dig in to that lead the Fever have. And I think the Fever would be content at the moment going blow for blow. There you go, defensive pressure for the Firebirds, a chance to push out here. Stour, quick hands, wall them out, no one in the circle. And that'll be a contact on Kim Jenner. So Courtney Bruce and Sunday Ariang will feel the pressure here of the ball coming their way. Contacts 27-12, penalties 33-23. Well, the pressure, they turn that into a game.
Yeah, beautiful footwork there by Sunday Ariang to run hard through that ball. Putting the, really good composure in that moment there by Courtney Bruce under pressure from Veve, but Fever are back on the attack, already on the circle edge.
Goals from Gain Stace, as we said, number 1 for the West Coast Fever in the league, sitting at 9 to the Firebirds 2. Fowler toying with the Firebirds defence, sets the screen for Glasgow. Can she finish again? The crowd will enjoy it. And with a minute to play on the clock, Suncorp Super Shot continues to fall for Sasha Glasgow.
Yeah, really beautiful crafting of that goal there. RBD went for that fly. As we see Courtney Bruce out on the fly, she gets the contact. She'll be very pleased with that.
Into attack though, the West Coast Fever. 35 on the clock, so plenty of time. We're leading the quarter by the 1 now, 19-18. Twinkle toes Glasgow. To go again, 2 in a row for Sasha Glasgow. Falls short, rebound to the hand. And again, Glasgow lines up. Go again, Sasha Glasgow for number 3. And it goes in the end.
Amazing work there. Really not impressive. It took her a couple of attempts, but really great resilience in that moment to just put the shot up. Why would you not? For me, I really do want to see a change though from the Firebirds defenders. It would be great if we could just see a bit more pressure on her, either outside of the circle, a 2-on-1 on her to force a ball to Janelle, or even just footwork to work around the front and make them have to go around.
4 seconds to get there, they'll go backwards. They're not going to rush it, are they? Why would you? Too much on it. But another big quarter for the West Coast Fever. An impressive return though for the Firebirds. They hold on 21-18 and so far have won all 3 quarters. Gee, are we looking at another record score coming from the Fever? Let's go to the break, and when we come back, the final 15 of round 10 to play here at RAC Arena. Well, it's been raining super shots here at RAC Arena. The West Coast Fever in a commanding position to get back into the winner's circle, leading 71-48 in a quarter-time Origin moment. And there on screen, well, that lady, I tell you what, it's been a big week for her. Kelly Ryan, the CEO of Netball Australia, of course, the news of the Magpies. Do they stay in the competition or not? An enormous weight on that lady's shoulders. Terrific to have her over here in Perth, though, as she witnesses an enormous crowd and a terrific game day experience. Look, she's enjoying it. So let's set up this final quarter, because there's some real interest about this quarter. number one, the Fever haven't lost one today, so the Firebirds are going to want to come out and try and win a quarter. 29 goals is the biggest winning margin of any game, and that was done just in the game prior, Stace, by the Swifts against the Magpies. And at the moment, the West Coast Fever could be heading in that direction. However, the biggest score in a game is held by the West Coast Fever at 86 goals. That was last year against the Giants. So do they break a new record today? We'll have to sit and wait. It'll be the Firebirds that do everything to try and stop that.
Yeah, the Firebirds will absolutely have something to say about that. As we see Courtney straight there on the fumble from Donnell Wallam.
Well, the transition for the West Coast Fever means business in the final quarter. Off the back of the captain in Courtney Bruce. And good news for Firebirds fans. Congratulations as Lisa Maimai steps onto the court at wing attack. The debut for her. And of course, those that know netball know, very famous sister in Gemma Maimai, retired now with beautiful twins, and I'm sure watching on and enjoying her sister step into the limelight. And
that moment snuck by everybody. It was a pass at Janelle Fowler's knees. I don't think Remy Carmo was expecting that, but Verity was happy to throw that in and Janelle held onto it. But we see Maimai injected into this game to bring speed. The ball was in there and on the top of the circle in the blink of an eye.
Now Wallam sitting at 30 today. As we said, she averages about 41. Shot 55. Fowler for the fourth miss of the game. Finds the rebound. Wallam 55 goals the last time against the Fever, so they have held her well and truly. There's Fowler, 91%. Bad day at the office, Janelle Fowler, sorted out.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. I was like, I can't believe I'm criticising in my head a shooter for missing another shot, but she's still over 90%. That's the brilliance that we get to witness week after week as we see the brilliance hit the floor.
Well, she's keeping the crowd entertained, Janelle Fowler. Wallam at 83%, you just saw on your screen. Ticks along. Heard Kim Rebellion very close to us just as the side was coming back out onto the court and telling her side, we play good netball when we're enjoying it, as is Courtney Bruce. So let's just go out and play netball like we enjoy it. That's when we play our best. Let's win this last quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. They want to win, they want to have fun, and they want to play for pride.
Bruce. She has got in the heads of the Firebirds attack today. Been building this season, pointing towards a World Cup. She'll be a menace at it. Glasgow on the fly-in, keeps it in play. It's been the Fever to every loose ball or awkward moment, player falling out of court.
Yeah, the netball that they played hasn't been perfect, but they've been there to back each other in those 50-50 moments or the moments when it hasn't gone exactly right.
So you get the feeling, apart from the Thunderbirds' performance yesterday, that the sides in the top four are really starting to put their foot down. The Swifts, a big win. The Vixens dominant yesterday at home, haven't lost on their home court. And the West Coast Fever are building confidence with every centre pass. Up to 77. Keep your eye on the 86 goals. That is the record for the biggest score.
I have to say, I'm loving the variety that we're seeing from Janelle Fowler as we have a look here of the final run home to finals that Fever will be looking at. Thunderbirds next week, which will not be an easy contest based on previous results and also a disappointing performance by them so far this round.
Nice step from Maimai. Thought about Wallam. Good smarts to swing the ball and open up her shooters. Using the width here, the Firebirds. Oh, I like Lisa Maimai here. Sorry, Lisa, not that.
She doesn't like you talking about her. Get her name out of your mind.
I like the fact that she's kept the ball moving by swinging the ball around. It's making the West Coast Fever defence get their heads turning.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. And I think also that's what Stour's strength is when she's at her best, is that speed, ability to let ball go straight away. And exactly right, you don't want the defenders to have time to set up and think about what they're doing.
Sasha Glasgow, if not her best game ever. smashing it when it comes to... Why is it when I say something, things happen? Glasgow sitting at 135 Nissan net points.
I know, what an incredible talent that we get to see in Sasha Glasgow, and it is incredibly disappointing, I think, for us not to be able to see her on the international stage this season.
All 5 coming from the Fever. And that's indicative of the scoreline, isn't it? Dominant performance, should I say, from the home side.
Yeah, and I think it's an important game for Fever, not only in the context of their recent results, but also for who they're playing. Firebirds have been a bogey team for the Fever in recent years. They're a difficult team to play against. They match up against each other really well. And so they'll be feeling incredibly confident with the performance that they've put out there so far today.
7-4 this quarter, so the Fever's still dominating. Dan Ryan, he'll want them to punish right through to the end. They will be desperate to take home the 4 quarters. Fowler works with Simmons. Glasgow to that front position. We talked head-to-head early on. I might see if I can get down to Dylan McPherson, who's been watching very closely across both goal defences, Ariang and Ruby Bakewell-Doran. Just summarise that for me.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the quieter games for Ruby Bakewell-Doran. We saw her take a couple of flies early in the game, but unfortunately just that timing hasn't quite been right. And I think Fever have been very clever about the balls they've let go and the ones they haven't. Ariang, a bit like Alice Teague-Neald we spoke about at halftime, she's just gone about her business. Her second goal attack for the day, that's always a good feeling. So I think in the head-to-head, I think Sunday's got the job done today.
No doubt the selectors watching on every game. Stacey Marinkovic would be glued. We saw the South African Predators side announce Norma Plummer, their head coach. England announcing theirs. Australia not too far away from that announcement. Round 14, live on centre circle. Wallen cleverly poised, just that one-handed right-hand little pop shot. 8 minutes to play here. And again, the crowds have been coming in for the West Coast Fever. And they'll be enjoying a far more easier watching game than 1-goal mishaps that they've experienced over the last few.
Yeah, there's certainly not an edge of your seat feeling. Oh my goodness. Excellent anticipation there by Courtney Bruce, basically in the centre third, taking that interception. She's really having a confident and clinical day at the office.
Yeah, Emily Mannix yesterday for the Vixens had the ball on a string. Bruce doing it again today. 6 intercepts, 92 Nissan net points. And, well, the penalty is being set down this end. The Fever notch up number 82, heading towards their own record with 7 minutes to play. Surely they're going to smash it.
It would be incredibly surprising for it not to.
Will we see a 90-goal game here? Oh, my.
I think if you're ever going to see a game where you break the scoring record, it's probably going to be against one of the teams of Firebirds or Fever, based on the shooting firepower that each team has.
Well, they could break 2 records. They could break the most goals, and they could break the biggest winning margin. And they hold both up until the Swifts earlier today with their win over the Magpies. Wallen.
Beautiful shot by her, setting herself up prior to going into that 5-minute period.
Yep, 35 goals. Teague-Neald under pressure from Rebellion. Finds it though. Oh, look at Janelle Fowler. Just confidence to find her mid-courts today.
Casual has the ball on a string there.
Right, double play, Maimo. Oh, well, that's one of the best passages of play we've seen from the Firebirds. Lisa Maimai in amongst it. We know no Macy Gardner out with the broken wrist. And, of course, Gabby Simpson out with the ankle injury. So opportunities come.
Oh, a little trip there by Vezzy, but pick up by Firebirds back on the attack. And actually, we've seen some really great, speedy, clinical attack from them in this quarter, but they're just desperate for gains.
Yeah, Simmons looking very ginger after that little fall, just the left ankle. And, well, smartly seen, wasn't it, by the coach of the West Coast Fever. And Does Verity Simmons get a bit of treatment or does she go to the bench? HCF tactical timeout, ball by the home side. There's Dr. Gary Kiwanis with Verity Simmons.
Just between you two again, let's make sure we lock straight into transverse line pressure, second phase pressure, all right, to do that roll together collectively, all right, build from the start, all right. Let's in this super shot period, let's start off in the first couple of minutes of just normal, so you on hold and you on sweep, and then in the second part of it, make the shift where you're going to sit in that middle, and then you're going to work your 45. Okay, in the middle, in the two, all right, so we will work around you. Stand at first, J1, U2, and then flip it, all right, back that in, okay? Just get your high workload to finish this game, crossing that transverse line, all right? Okay, big effort to finish this game, guys. Let's go charging, ferocious fever all the way, let's go.
So Verity Simmons will head to the bench just off that last little moment where she hit the ground. Little ankle roll. Terrific game for her. 83.5 Nissan net points. You see the left ankle just rotate. But she's walking okay off the court, so you imagine not too much in that. So 5 minutes 39 on the clock. Kim Jenner into wing defence. 84 goals is where the Fever sit. Too shy of equaling the record. And Courtney Bruce just monsters the moment straight away. Almost enough time just to massage her back and then get back into business.
Yeah, that was a bit of a gift. She had a brilliant read on that.
Swing and Fowler follows her own work. And a Bruce goal it was. 85. Teague Neal, direct middle corridor. Nothing there, so back to the line. Power 5 time. Patiently working to try and find an easy moment, and it's to Fowler. And they level the record, the West Coast Fever, 86 goals. The most goals scored, or points in a game, should I say, since the Super Shot has been introduced. Wallen off balance. Steadies, no pressure, and much needed Suncorp super shot for Donnell Wallen. The penalty outside. Who gets the record-breaking shot? Well, it's going to be Sasha Glasgow for a new record for the West Coast Fever and for the league. 88 goals. And it's off the hand of the lady that has been monstrous in the Super Shots today. 11 from 16. And take nothing away from Wallen at the other end. No pressure though on the Firebirds. And now it's hitting 90. Oh my goodness, I can't remember the last time I called a 90-goal game. It would have been at a Commonwealth Games or a World Cup. Unbelievable. 3 minutes 30. Glasgow says, just give it to me. I want more. Sasha Glasgow. I'm out of words.
Wowie. Just smiles on Sasha Glasgow's face there. She's really enjoying her netball. So happy to be back after that COVID protocol kept her out.
Donnell Wallen knows that she's got to take the weight of the world on her shoulders, and congratulations to her. 3 in a row, keeping that scoreboard ticking along, and her score as well.
Absolutely, the Firebirds attacker definitely got something to say about not letting Fever reach that biggest margin win.
Fowler in the back space, punishes the chest of Glasgow. Has a think about it and then just steps in. No pressure, up to 91 for the West Coast Fever. 29 is the other record that could be broken here today. The most, or the biggest winning score held by the Swifts just over 2 hours ago. Stour now, this goes surely. Oh, clever stuff from Courtney Bruce.
And that's exactly what you want to see in those moments, and what we've called quite a few times today. Fever just there for the scraps, not saying die, not letting the ball go out. As we see here, the ball bounces off the back, Courtney Bruce taps it in, and it's ably supported by Sunday Ariang.
Presence of mind to know where Ariang was, though, around the post. Incredible stuff from the Fever captain.
And unfortunate for RBD to get called in that moment there, because for me it was much better in that super shot. She was making an effort and an attempt to get front, but Sasha Glasgow does not care.
Well, look at the grin on Ryan's face. Beating her chest is Sasha Glasgow when it comes to super shots today. And again, the crowd are going to love this woman. You're kidding me. Oh, this is unbelievable stuff from Sasha Glasgow. 14 super shots, absolutely whipping it.
And Fever back in possession of the ball. I think for me, I would just see a 2-on-1 against Sasha at this point.
They're sitting at 95 with just over a minute to play. You know what the crowd wants? They want a fouler. Listen to the crowd. Well, she let them down.
She did. She was disappointed. She wanted that. I don't think we'll see her take one for a little while now.
The Firebirds haven't been able to win a quarter here today. They really have been monstered by the West Coast Fever, the reigning premiers. 24-15 it is in this final quarter. And it's enough to put the West Coast Fever fans on their feet as their captain continues. How do you pick an MVP today between her and Sasha Glasgow? They have both been superb. Anstis, 30 seconds. Bruce with 12 games. Fowler now wants a piece of the action. The crowd are willing her on. Oh, and she gets amongst it as well. The Green Army treated to super shots galore. Well, 97, Stacey Francis Bayman. This is just extraordinary. To take them to 99, it will be the last shot of the game. And it doesn't fall. Oh, the West Coast Fever, they dominated here today. 63, they held the Firebirds to a 97. They broke records everywhere. The West Coast Fever folks back in the winner's circle. Very happy Dan Ryan, no doubt. Oh, they've broken it all. 63 to 97.
Humongous final quarter effort there by the West Coast Fever. 26 to the Firebirds 15. A complete four-quarter performance.
Well, it was. Sasha Glasgow, you can see the smiles, returns from COVID protocols and pops in 14 from 20 super shots. 70% above her average this season, which has been at 65. Look at Janelle Fowler, 53 from her today, a few misses, but it was all about the team effort. It's the West Coast Fever. Thank the crowd, and a big one it's been in here today. I said it was impossible to pick who the MVP should be, but I'm going to let Dylan McPherson tell us just who that is.
Well, it was pretty impossible to pick an MVP today. A beautiful performance. Sasha Glasgow, what a game from you. I'll throw some numbers at you. 14 from 14 in 1 point. 14 super shots. The word greedy comes to mind, but how did it feel out there?
I didn't even know that it was that many, honestly. We've just been working so hard for our super shot attack and just connecting the ends together, so I can't do my job without Jay, and she really looked for me today and made my job easy.
And you had the week off last week. Bit of time to reflect, get yourself in. You look like you came out with a real fire in your belly today.
Yeah, COVID definitely hit me good, but just getting on the training track this week, just taking my time, really easing back into it. I was actually so eager to come out. I couldn't wait for game day. It's such a good feeling.
And we're fighting with a very big crowd here at RAC Arena to hear, but next week you take on the Thunderbirds, a huge game for you and your club. What do you think the focus is this week after such a big win?
Yeah, I think definitely looking at what the Vixens did and how they shut them down. Yeah, they're a formidable side. I know that they definitely won't be happy with the score that they had yesterday. So for us, it's enjoying this win for the next 24 hours and then getting straight back into business. We really want to clip them at home.
And I'm sure you will enjoy rewatching those super shots, all 14 of them. Congratulations today.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks so much.
Well, Sasha Glasgow certainly contributed to the record-breaking score for the West Coast Fever. 97, the biggest score in any match ever. Unbelievable. As we head into the match summary, I'm going to hand it all over to you, Stace.
Wow, an incredibly classy performance there by the West Coast Fever. The difference really was the gains. Firebirds were struggling to get their hands on ball consistently throughout the match, and Fever got an overwhelming amount of gains, and their ability to score off of those as well, combined with Sasha's 2-point shots, really just opened up that gap there. Turnovers as well, starting to creep up a little bit too high for the Firebirds to be in with a chance, and Fever really performing across the court. There were standouts, absolutely, but I think for me, everybody was playing their role, sometimes in a really fancy way, sometimes just the dominant way.
Well, a 34-goal victory to the West Coast Fever. Another big week of netball it's been. Some big results across the round. Plenty of talking points, I'm sure, to discuss.